Okay, hello all and warmly welcome to this live. My name is Anni and my channel is support channel for all the caffeine quitters. And I help people to recover from the caffeine addiction, and I help people to recover their withdrawal symptoms and those who are suffering post-acute withdrawal symptoms. And that is the information that I share in my channel, and then I also do all kind of other videos, health related, humoristic, and all kind of other videos. But today I want to speak about this topic that I have been speaking before, but not maybe in this kind of perspective that I'm speaking now, even it's always the same stuff that I'm speaking about, how the symptoms, it takes time to heal, and time will fix all that what is happening in our brain, and time will fix those post-acute withdrawals. But I haven't really used word neuroadaptation so much before, and also because when you go further this journey, you also learn more, you get more information. Even sometimes too much information is not always so helpful, but that's kind of what happens. Some of us who struggled so long with these symptoms, we kind of become a little bit like neuroscientistic scientists in this journey, because we just have to kind of go through this in our own way, because there is really nobody who is guiding us through this, because like we know, caffeine is so underestimated drug, and nobody really speaks about these long-term effects that it can cause to your brain and your nervous system, and that it really takes time before your nervous system will do that resetting and go back to the balance, homeostasis, as same as all the neurotransmitters in the brain, and everything go back to the homeostasis. So that is the topic that I want to dive deep today. And just first I will check out the chat. So you are warmly welcome, as always. Join to the chat and interact with me. And I will check the microphone too. So quickly just getting everything work. So yes, I really feel that it's so important to share this kind of support what I'm doing, because many of you, I know that you have been probably watching all those benzo coaches videos, and I'm so grateful that that information is out there, because there is so much we can relate as caffeine quitters to those videos and those stuff that they are speaking in those videos about this neuroadaptation, and that how it really can take time before the nervous system really go back to in that place that you are able to live your life, and where you are able to like deal normal stuff. And I think that that's the huge issues that many people are struggling in this journey, and that's why that makes the living life so hard, because like in that my previous video I said that it's always the nervous system which is running the show, and that's how it really is. And when we are going through this healing change, it is all the neuroadaptation, actually it is healing. That's why I prefer to use word healing. And when I use if I use word injury, I mean it's always reversible injury. Like no matter how long it takes, everybody will heal with these withdrawals and post-acute withdrawals. It can sometimes feel it's never-ending story, but we do really heal. But in this video, I wanna give you a little bit that support for people who are maybe a little bit longer in this journey. So now in this video, I'm not focusing those of you who are in the acute state. I know that's really hard in that stage if you are there, and then it's all about it's all about surviving, going through the days, and that's all you need to do. And maybe later when the time goes by, I will do the also support group from those who are in that acute withdrawal state, and in your early months when it's all still very messy and you cannot really interact with the outside life, and you cannot go places and all that. when people are experiencing that. But in this video, I think this support is also so much needed that people who are already longer in this journey, maybe up till their 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, because like I have been saying, for some of us this is really takes time. This caffeine withdrawal, post-acute withdrawals, it really takes time before people completely healed and before the nervous system completely are like in that place that you can just do anything. You can just, and you will be even stronger than you were before, because that's what happens to people. But so it can seem how it can feel like sometimes it can feel that you have those like you know that we have been speaking with Mandy, you have those better times, like you feel that you are ready to do more stuff. You maybe started to working again if you didn't be able to do that before. Maybe you started to like make more connections with your friends. Maybe you started some new hobby and you are excited to that, and it can feel that your nervous system is really in a good place and you are able to do stuff. And then it can happen that you will hit a wave, or some people, like we know, you don't have waves and windows, it's just it's just like more stable, the symptoms, and then it gets better. So that's normal too, so don't worry if you are experiencing that. But anyway, so I understand it can be frustrating, and then some people they start to question. That is very normal when you have anxiety, that you start to question that how it can be that I was so much better, and where did that better go, like why I'm feeling like this, and this is like the point when the people start to say this, that Anni, am I gonna go back to the beginning, because I really feel that I'm gonna go back in the beginning. So first of all, when your nervous system is healing, it's not never gonna be, I don't know any single person in this journey that they have said that, Anni, I just wake up and my nervous system works perfectly well and all my symptom is gone and I'm healed by overnight. That's usually not how it goes. It usually goes by the seasons, waves and windows, and some people it's like more the wave, and then longer in their journeys they start to have those windows. Able like started to engage more the life and with your family and friends, and I know it can be very, like sometimes very overwhelming for your family too, and your partner and anyone who is involved with you in that situation, that I know it can be very overwhelming for those people too. So it takes a lot of understanding also to those who are supporting us, because this is something that you cannot really just explain, because like we know that nervous system injury, brain injury is something that is inside of your head, and it's like something that when you broke your leg or if you broke your arm, you can show that, hey, my arm is broken and now I just have to wait so it heals, and I really don't want to take anything to help that, because my body knows how to heal that by itself, and I don't want to interrupt that process because, you know, my body knows how to do that. That was my choice, the way to heal, that I don't want to take anything. I just want to let my body, I did want to let my body to do that, because I want to trust the process, and I have been trusted the process, and that's how I have been healing. But anyway, I don't give you any advice. I just say that is definitely something that our body can do to heal itself. So then it can seem that you can be sometimes very disappointed that when you are starting to feel better, so you start to, many times it happens that human, when you start to feel better, you of course you're gonna wanna do all kind of things. You wanna go out and about, and you just wanna maybe push your limits. You wanna I don't know what you want to do. Maybe you want to start to try exercise harder if you haven't been able to do that, or maybe you want to travel or try some kind of new job that you haven't been able to do in years. And then if it happens that you still hit some kind of setback, and I don't mean that you will necessarily hit any kind of bad setbacks, but even those, like we did have those tsunamis with Mandy, and that has been happening to other people too. But let's say that even you would have that kind of setback, that you suddenly would be like really, really like tired, or like you would feel like, for example, very much blah, or just like you think that why I'm not feeling myself, like I was already feeling myself, and now I'm back to this like that this kind of box that I'm feeling like in the prison again, that I cannot feel that connection. And that is where the rewiring is always happening, guys. That is when your nervous system is really doing the healing, is trying to go back in the balance, and it's always does the more healing in its own phase and time. And this is the one thing that like why people are so much like, it's so hard to people, because like nobody would like to suffer, especially years. Nobody. I sure didn't want. I sure did doubt as hell like this journey before I really first of all started to understand what happened to me. Because you know, it doesn't happen to everyone who quit cold turkey that they have this like kind of neurotoxic reaction when their nervous system really get hit, and you start to have these post-acute withdrawals. And I can show you one video about that too, why that may happen to some people and why it doesn't happen to everyone. Like there is one benzo doctor who speaks about that, and I think that can be very some kind of, you can relate that in this caffeine quitting thing too. Like that's why it happens to some people, but it doesn't mean that caffeine is still a poison, and it's still affecting anyone who is using that. But now when we speak this really heavy reaction that some people have, even some people haven't been really long in this drug, they can have this reaction that it can take months or years to recover. So that video can maybe open up a little bit that. So I will find soon for you. But now a little bit more to that, the how to deal with that feeling, that if you feel that you have been like somehow failed, or you have been feeling that you was so much better and now you feel something again. So here's the thing, guys. The thing that you have been already gone through this journey, wherever you are, that is a huge thing. And all that healing that have been happening in this journey, because you haven't gone back in the drug, you have been stay clean, you haven't take anything, you have been staying sober. So your nervous system have been able to heal, your body have been able to heal. And if you still have these symptoms every now and then, it doesn't mean that that is a setback. We call it usually the set, but that actually we could call that the healing hump, or the more rewiring. And I know it can be very frustrating, and sometimes it can feel that those people that you are maybe in your circle or your family, it can be that you make these promises that, yeah, I'm gonna start this with you, or yeah, I'm gonna start this. And then when you have this hump, you can't do that. So don't blame yourself to having these plans. Don't blame yourself having these trials when you try to do maybe some work, where you maybe travel somewhere. If you are not enjoying that, don't blame yourself, because think about where you were in the beginning, where we were in the beginning. Do you remember? I know all of who go through this, you remember. Okay, some people are still in the beginning, and then of course my heart goes out with you. You really gonna come out of that. I promise you, with time that will happen. But those of you who are a little bit longer, you have to humble yourself. You have to remember that how hard times you did go through. And even if you wouldn't be like 100%, don't blame yourself. Don't blame, and try to always focus those positive things and those that give you that reassurance. Stay away from the toxic people, because there is a lot of toxic people who just are energy vampires. They see that maybe you are a kind person. They try to suck all your energy. They try to scare you. Like for me, it's really hard to scared me because first of all, I don't believe in viruses. I don't believe them. I have been studied. They don't exist. There is no any kind of like thing that you could try to like scare me, because I trust so much how the human body can heal. And even if because there is always, guys, stressors in the lives that comes. We cannot just stay here in the room like okay, so sometimes you can do that, but that is not the way in this journey. That I really support you to do the things that brings you even little bit of that feeling good, whatever is it for you. For me, is in the summer, it is being in my garden, doing like work with the plants, going outside in the nature, whatever is it for you. So because you know, when you are in this journey, take a little bit water, and sometimes even if you would have you know, okay day, and you wouldn't be feeling so bad, and then there's some people who comes with this energy. Oh my god, I have this and that. That's gonna make you feel a little bit like that's gonna suck. So this is my advice, and like I said, I only give you a very rare advice, so this one I think you should take, because Anni usually doesn't give advices. Just very strict way. Those people who doesn't support you, or you feel that they are overwhelming you, stressing you, even the information, just that away. And why I say that? I say that because myself, I'm a lot of like some call me conspiracy theorist. I don't mind, you can call me whatever I am. But that kind of information where I'm really into, for example, like speaking about those injections and injuries and stuff, it's something that I like and I want to do, and that's from like important to my heart, to me. But I understand if you are, for example, in the journey that you feel like you are not able to even live, like your days are survival, then you go some kind of group that there is so much information coming out, all kind of information, no matter what that information is. I do understand that extra information can overwhelm people, and that's why I also advise you stay out from the groups that are making you feel worse. Stay out from the groups. Now people, in these times that we are living, we really have to start to stand up ourselves. I have been doing that already years. I have been moving here in the forest. I have been like cutting down all the negative relationships, and what I have left is very tiny circle, and I love it. I enjoy it, and that's why this is the most important advice that I'm giving you, because, like, you know, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to even tell all the people that all the people in the world should quit caffeine right now. Especially cold turkey, for example, I don't never advise people to quit cold turkey. I always mention that there is the dangers of cold turkey. Some people we do cold turkey. Some people it works. They don't have this adverse reaction that I'm gonna show you video about, and they don't end up having post-acute withdrawals and stuff. But very, very many people do. And those people who do are, of course, the people that I would interact with. So, being said, just remember that focus all the positive things. There is huge amount of positive things that start to come out of this journey when you heal. Remember, you are not addicted to caffeine anymore. You are so much healthier. You can even if you wouldn't be able to run full force marathon yet, you can always add a little things. Even with movement, you can always, even people who are in bed bound, I will say to those people that even in bed, you can even round your arms, you can try to move your hands. There is always hope. No matter how bad place you would be, there is always hope. I have been seeing crazy cases. I have been seeing crazy cases in my life. People who have been started to heal. So there is anything is possible, and that's where my belief stands, is that anything is possible. Moikka PK, mitäs se äijä siellä, mitä kuuluu? Tulitko sä taas testaa Annin hermostoa, että tulitko sä vittuilemaan? No, okay, but now I'm gonna find you that video about that benzo doctor. So let's see that. Let's see. Okay, there it is, and I just will show you in a minute. I will show you this in a minute. I just pannaanko tuolta kamera ja selain. Okay, there is some commercials that have to...
Kauppias järjestää moponuorille kokoontumisajon.
So I think this was quite interesting, so let's look up this.
Hi, this is Dr. Joseph Witt-Doering. The purpose of today's video...
And by the way, I like this. He's really amazing. Thank you for this video. First of all, I always want to thank the people who I show them videos, even I don't know if they watch ever this, but thank you, Dr. Joseph, and bringing this information also about benzos and the dangers of the benzos, but also he also understands this caffeine aspect. So he really knows also what caffeine can do. So, but let's listen this.
Is to talk about why do only some people develop protracted benzodiazepine withdrawal and others are okay. And it may be useful to start this this video with some anecdotes. Back when I was a trainee and I trained at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, I frequently saw people coming into the inpatient units who were benzodiazepine users. They might have been on, they actually wouldn't even know. They could have been on huge amounts. They would be buying benzos off the street. Maybe it was laced with fentanyl, but they would essentially be getting what their dealer would be giving to them. It could be anything from 0.5 milligram of Xanax to maybe 2 milligrams, but who really knows? There wasn't that much quality control. And so we might have people come into our inpatient units taking maybe 5 or 6 of these a day for a period of several months or so. They would come in, we'd have absolutely no idea how much they were on, except that it was a lot, and they were highly dependent on it. And over the space of about 2 weeks, we would rapidly have them tapered down to about maybe like 1 milligram of Xanax, sometimes even just on gabapentin, and then they were out the door. And these people were okay. None of them developed significant tinnitus or the constellation of symptoms that is now known as protracted benzodiazepine withdrawal. So I thought it might, and this was fairly common. I saw this several times at different hospitals. So protracted benzodiazepine withdrawal is not something that everyone will get. In fact, I believe it's quite uncommon just from working in a lot of different hospitals and seeing a lot of people on benzodiazepines. So I think the first thing to talk about is that there are likely genetic and very personalized reasons why people develop this that are unknown. So I'm going to speculate a little bit as to what makes sense to me as the the mechanism behind all of this. So your brain does not like external chemicals coming in and changing things. So,
and that's what I really do agree. Why would we put poisons and chemicals? Our brain definitely doesn't like that.
If, say, for instance, you start taking Xanax or Klonopin and you have it in your brain after, for several months, it is affecting the GABA system. And what we know about the GABA system is...
And we also know the caffeine affects the GABA system, but also, of course, the other neurotransmitters. But he's now speaking about this, like the benzo point of view, of course.
That it is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter system in the central nervous system. And so it's not a system that's just involved in anxiety or sleep. It is involved in everything that your central nervous system, also, your brain does. And so if you start putting an exogenous substance, a Xanax in there to start stimulating that receptor, you will induce a cascade of adaptory changes over time. Because your GI system, all of, your cardiovascular system, all of these different systems in your body that have been relying on a fairly typical consistent tone, inhibitory tone and excitatory tone, they are now off balance because we have this external agent coming in that is really stimulating the GABA receptor a lot, causing global inhibition. So over time, the other neurotransmitter systems ramp up. This is serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine, glutamate, to push back against these changes to keep the other systems in your body working as they ought to.
And this is all about the adaptation, and this is also what the Dr. Snipe speaks about, and I have been also showed her videos about the post-acute withdrawals, so I really recommend you to watch those too.
Over time, and now this is where the speculation comes in, it is a possibility that this is not, these changes can create an unhealthy neurochemical environment in the brain. And it is possible that maybe, because you have so much GABA, now we're compensating with a lot of upregulation of the other neurotransmitter systems, that you could create an environment that could be neurotoxic. This is an environment where there could be neurological damage, neuronal damage, and that might result in...
And that's, of course, what happened to many of us when we did quit the caffeine.
In the symptoms of, tinnitus or sensory pain, muscle twitches, things like that, symptoms that don't go away after the drug is stopped. So they're suggestive of neuronal damage. Why this only occurs in some people is it's not really known. But
kohdataan, kuunnellaan ja tuetaan toisiamme.
This is also something that can happen without factors which we typically attribute to being the cause of protracted withdrawal, such as abrupt drops in your medication. We see some patients who just develop this gradually while they are on.
And this is where we come to a term called cold turkey. And it's really, really, like, I would say already common, because I have been seeing people going through this stuff like already many years, that many people who do cold turkey, and can be a huge shock for the brain, also will end up with these long-term lasting symptoms that we called post-acute withdrawals.
The drug. Sometimes they confuse it for interdose withdrawal symptoms, but really what they're developing is a neuronal toxicity, which is a result of the adaptory changes in the brain that have happened by being on prolonged benzodiazepines. Okay, so that's the first part. There is some people who just appear to be susceptible to these to this neurotoxicity after the drug has been in their system for a long time. Other things that can trigger the benzodiazepine protracted withdrawal are sharp drops in medications. So
yeah, this is the short drops.
if you are taking Xanax, you've been on it for several years, and all of a sudden your doctor says, I'm not going to prescribe it for you anymore, and they taper you over 2 weeks, and it's really quick, and maybe they don't adjust back, maybe you're feeling terrible, and they just go, no, you just need to push through it. We're going to try an SSRI for your anxiety. In situations like that, when people are abruptly withdrawn, that can sometimes be the straw that breaks the camel's back, because all of a sudden there's nothing to push back these years of push back against the excitation in those adaptations that you've built up over time by being on the drug. You've upregulated serotonin, noradrenergic, dopaminergic tone, glutamatergic tone to push back against the presence of that benzodiazepine. Now it's unopposed.
And you can relate that to caffeine too, you have been adapted to those changes, those changes of the dopamine levels, glutamate levels. Those are the main excitatory neurotransmitters that caffeine are really ramping up. So you can just see how this all makes sense.
And it can just cause so much excitation, and that excitation, especially when it's at that level, could be damaging. And that's why a lot of people come to us after they've had these acute drops, and that's typically the story. They had an acute drop, and then they got back on the medication at the same dose, and it's still there. That was the trigger that caused neuronal damage. Another thing that's a little bit more rare, but we're seeing more and more, is people going to emergency rooms.
And we have to remember, even we would have this neuronal damage, whatever did happen to us, whatever substances you did end up in this journey. But for me, I of course here speak about the caffeine. That's the main. But it's all these stuff are the poisons, and the drugs are causing this. So I just wanna remind you that those neurons, they really renew. We really do heal, and our brain is neuroplastic. There is that neuroplasticity. It's same that our nervous system is really plastic. Really also it does adapt with the time in that homeostasis and balance, but it just, for some of us, it just takes time.
Getting treated with fluoroquinolone medications like ciprofloxacin for UTIs or other types of infections. These medications are agonists at the GABA A receptor, and what they can do is...
But that was the main point that I wanted to show you. You can watch the end of that video if you want, but there it went the cold turkey can really be the one huge issue for some people, why they end up, especially they can end up having that huge shock, and that can be even benzos too, but caffeine too, that can be even dangerous. It can be even life-threatening to some people to quit cold turkey, so that's why I don't recommend that. It doesn't happen to everyone, like I said. Some people can be just pretty much fine. They can have some weeks, some issues, and be fine, but that's not the case at all for everyone. And then of course another thing that he did explain, basically those adaptation changes that happens through the time. Many of us, we have been in caffeine really, really long time, and there have been that adaptation, our brain and all the neurotransmitters and all those hormones and everything have to have been adapted. And now it's just and the nervous system too. So if we speak about the nervous system damage or nervous system injury, we have to remember that is all I really believe that in this journey it's just temporary state, that how we feel, and that's why the anxiety is with many of us the main always. People never complain me that Anni, I just have so much fatigue, or Anni, I cannot stand this pain. Okay, the pain was really huge for me. I had tons of pain. I say that pain can be really bad in this. But the main reason that people always contact and why it was hard to me too was the anxiety and the mental symptoms, all these mental symptoms. So that is the issue, like why people need support and why we need to have this reassurance is this mental part and that struggle that can like make many people really suffer. And I also know that this journey can take a lot of away from you. I know people who have lost like jobs and careers and family members, like in that sense that you have been breaking up, and I know that it can be really hard. But listen, guys, this, because when you really start to heal and when you come in your journey in that point that you really start to trust the process, you are seeing that, okay, I'm gonna be well. Okay, my nervous system really, it is starting to function normally, and I'm not anymore in that state that I have to be aware everything and everything just is overwhelming. You're gonna come in the place that it actually turns around. You are actually like starting to say that, yes, this was the hardest thing that happened to me, but it also have been the best thing that happened to me. Because without this experience, if I'm honest to you, I wouldn't be here where I am today. I wouldn't be this person. I would have not this courage that I have now. The courage that leads me anywhere in this world, anywhere that I want to be. I wouldn't have this if I wouldn't have dropped in the deepest hell in the earth. And it was the deepest hell for me, because I was praying in the beginning that, please God, take me away from here, because like there is no way that I can deal this kind of pain. But then in the other hand, I trusted God. I'm really, really like, I always trust God. Even now I speak with God every day, like that, how thankful I am. And even with the naysayers, like even today there is people who are offering me, they are saying here in the comments that here we have some coffee. Before I couldn't really stand those comments, even because how injured I felt, how bad place I was. I felt furious. But now, because it's not anyone's like I'm not really mind. You can say whatever you want, because I know that this is the experience that not everyone's gonna have. They don't understand what it is. So people can have their opinion, people can have their coffees. I'm not here to take your precious drug away. I'm just sharing the examples what this drug is doing, and sharing this information for those people who are suffering, that they can understand what is happening in their brain, that they are not broken, they are not injured, they are adapting, they are rewiring, they are healing. Those are the words that I love: adaptation, rewiring, and healing. We have so much fear in our world that they are trying to push in every direction. And I don't say it's good to be aware of certain things. Like, it's good to be aware, like the drugs and those are poisons, medications are poisons and stuff. But all that fear that are like there are like purpose why they put that. That's purposely is to put people in that fear state. And think about, but when people are caffeinated, it's really much easier to control people, because caffeine itself, it's a, like we know, it's a neurotoxin, it's a cell poison, and it affects your brain, and it's like spikes those stress hormones up, so it puts you in that state of anxiousness and fear. So if you are already in that fear, of course it's easier to manipulate you. Even for some people, they can't manipulate. Some people are stronger, but like overall, if I'm speaking like people, it's not like the optimal place to be in any kind of drugs. And the other thing that I also want to just keep saying, and I have been saying this so many times, that I really think that it's so important that you and not supplements in this journey, because if you don't need them, because when you have this nervous system sensitivity going on, temporary thing, and you are healing, it's just important to let that thing happen naturally. Because here's the thing, then there are people like you may be wondering like why some people then gets like reaction from, for example, some supplements, because there is, like I have been saying, a lot of like those toxins in supplements. There can be all kind of like chemicals, like all kind of stuff like in the supplements too. But why then some people have the reaction and other people don't? So this is just, and now comes my speculation. This is my speculation now coming in. And I don't know if this is like something, how it really is, but there's something that I have been starting to see in this. So there are some people that also do this kindling with the caffeine also. And what this means, you can do that other drug too, that you go back and forth with the drug. So you quit, you go back, you quit, you go back, you quit, you go back. And then what I have been hearing for some people, that every time if they have been like withdrawing, for example, from caffeine, and they have been like off from that quite some time, maybe up till even years or months, but they haven't fully healed, like fully, let's say that they have the wound, but they haven't fully healed the wound. So then there are like maybe some way of healed, like where they feel a little bit better, but not fully healed. The wound is still there. So then they go back to the drug. And that neuroadaptation, those neurons that have been like, they are sensitive, like that makes sense that when they say that it's completely even more hell to the next time when they withdraw again, it's even more worse, the symptoms. Because this is how I see, if there is that, those neurons are like in the brain are already sensitive, like think about the wound, like if the wound is healing, then you just put something else there, you open the wound again, it wasn't really healed. Like, you know, when you have, for example, some wound that you have to like the stitches, you have to like put the stitches on. So let's say that you have been healing really good in the place that your nervous system is maybe in the better place, and you think that, okay, I'm now in that place that I'm gonna still go back to something. I don't know why would you do that, but sometimes we are people can sometimes do that. That's why it's important to me to share, not to do that, because that you don't do that, because when you understand this healing, it really makes sense. So you still maybe feel like blah, not yourself, tired, like, and then you start to play with some other drugs. Maybe you go with the alcohol, maybe you go with the weed. I don't know what you go, but you go something. And those neurons, they become very sensitive, like because the wound haven't been healed, and you start to take something to interrupt. So your body is, hey, why this is the new toxin coming in? We have to deal with this too, and it's just more and more work to your system and your brain to heal. And that's why it can sometimes take those people longer. It's not mean that they are not gonna heal, but it can take longer, and also they can be maybe more sensitive to some stuff if they are already, their nervous system is already very what would be the word, like the sensitized, like very much like in that place that anything really can cause you a reaction. So that's why it's important to share this information that I'm doing, because people are like, why do you say that don't take supplements and stuff? I'm not saying that don't take supplements just because I'm not taking them. I'm sharing this information based those facts that I have been seeing and learning in this journey, and that's why I want to share that to you, so you can make then the choice what to do. based on that information, not to scare you, because I don't never wanna scare any people. Because, you know, for me in this journey, I did get so many scary information that I did ditch like right away, because, you know, I'm not a stupid person. I can really rapidly get the information that I need, and I can really like, what is the word, like, get the information that I really think that is valuable. But that can be really hard, because if you are really in that place that you have a lot of fear and doubt, and then some people start to come and say something, and it just puts you on more fear. So this is not the fear if you are already taking something and you are still like okay. I'm not saying anything, but I just that you should stop right away to take the supplements, but I just say that there is also stuff that they're put in those that are not natural, and that can cause a reaction, even for some like healthy nervous system individuals. So we just have to always share this information, and especially in this kind of journey, this caffeine quitting information journey, we should share all of our experiences and informational, because we want to help people so much as we can. And that's why I want to pretty much share everything that I learn and hear, and what other people are like have been teaching to me, so that I can share you the best information that you could have when you heal, because I didn't have that. I wish I would have all this information in my first year, but I didn't. But like I said, you learn in the way, you become more educated, wiser, and then some point you heal enough that you don't necessarily, and I don't know if you all need this kind of information, not necessarily. All I think you need to know is the time, and the other thing, if you are interested, you can take this information. But for me, because I'm always planning in the future, I hopefully educate people and keep some kind of lectures, maybe in schools, I don't know where other places, but for me it's very important to educate myself a little bit about this neuroscience and the nervous system and all that. So then it's easier to explain this stuff to people. And with caffeine is still like, it comes like so much afterwards than these other stuff, other drugs, because there is so many information, because there is still those beliefs that people think that caffeine is good for them. And then I'm always like, there, we are like 2024. Do I really have to start this from the beginning? Like, is this possible that we are living in this time and people really think that caffeine is good for them? But yeah, it comes afterwards, all this information we need to put that just out there, and hopefully then people who needs it will find that. So now, if you have any questions about the topic, I know that I always speak so much, and I don't know if I get these things to explain so well, but that's why I always link you all kind of videos that you can watch, and those professionals that can say everything so nicely and perfectly, which I cannot do. But I'm trying my best. You guys, just all you need to pretty much know that you're gonna be well. You're gonna be alright. You just have to spend your time now somehow if you are not really yet feeling good. Ja myöskin, jos siellä minun suomalaiset ystäväni katsovat tätä, niin voi tulla chattiin, jos on nyt jotakin kysyttävää esim. Kofeiinivierotukseen liittyen tai näihin oireisiin. Mä teen myös tästäkin aiheesta suomeksi taas videon, missä mä selitän sitten vähän enemmän siitä ja näytän videoa ja koitan suomentaa, että miksi sitten toisille tapahtuu se, että päätyy näihin pidempiin jälkivierotusoireisiin ja toisille ei, mutta se ei ole nyt ehkä niin se tärkeä kuin se tässä videossa, että antaa just sitä tukea, että siinä tosiaan monilla kestää aikaa ennen kuin ne kaikki oireet poistuu ja ennen kuin se hermoston toiminta myös palautuu siihen normaaliin. Että se on ihan normaalia ja siksi olen täällä sitä tukea antamassa. Niin voi myös tänne chattiin, jos tulee jotain kysymyksiä nytte kofeiinivierotukseen liittyen. But as always, guys, I'm just so happy that I can do these videos and share about this information. And I always try to bring something new if I have learned something. And I also have been learning a lot of those bencho guides and bencho doctors videos, what comes to the brain and what comes to the nervous system. And then one thing that I also want to say that when you really start to, like, sometimes when people go through this, it can be that they don't, like, the first 6 months for many, it's just like completely in that state that where you go into autopilot. And in, of course, that stage you are not have to worry any of these things that I speak about in this video, what I'm motivating to you a little bit more, like the work or study or interact with the family more or get friends or get hobbies or whatever. That state, the beginning state, however long it is for anyone, it's just like do what you can, eat, sleep when you can, eat always, even if you feel you cannot eat. Some people cannot really eat. You just still have to eat something, and just make sure that you get yourself the rest. Like then it's not, and many people, they are not even able to try anything like anything more. But then later in the recovery, I really am a little bit more not pushing you, but just like trying to get you a little bit more out and about in that sense. That because if this really, for some people, it really takes time. And then if you are just spending those days always just because the mind, when you have the intrusive thoughts, mind is already worrying all day long. It's already worrying. You don't have to add that worry anymore. Like mind does the worrying when your brain do the rewiring and nervous system do the rewiring, because your nervous system is all about keeping you safe. So then I do like recommend you to just a little bit every day something, maybe just go into nature and write it down if you did go there, and maybe something to do something that you can, because that's gonna just help you to go through your days and keep going. And then when you are in that point that maybe you are starting on the new work or maybe studying, I know some of you have been working all the time, and that's of course then I cannot say anything else but the good job, like amazing job for you. I don't know how you do it, but of course there's also, we are all different. Some people just don't have any choice. If you have kids or your life situation, you just have to do it anyway, even with the horrible anxiety. But some of us, our brain just couldn't do that. We have so much that stuff going on in the brain, like so much healing going on in the brain that we just couldn't. And in that place, I have a lot of empathy to people who feel that they are alone or nobody understands them, or they are just in the place that they feel stuck. We really do get out from that place. And meanwhile, the best thing that you can do is anything that would make you feel better. Maybe it's watching some funny videos. Maybe you have some kind of coloring book in your phone or something. Maybe you like to draw. Maybe do you like to paint? Is writing something you like to do? Something that you can just distract a little bit and focus. Maybe some people can do knitting. I did like to do knitting, but it's not for everyone. Walking, sometimes just like simple as walking. going in the beach if you can't, like anything, it can be helpful. And then of course if you are a religious person, like even like I would say you now that for me it didn't help how much I did pray in the beginning. Of course I did pray because I do believe in God, but this was something that I kind of did to myself, and there is no quick fixes that God could just take all the suffering away that I did have to wait that I did heal. But I still feel that for me at least it's very important that I'm praying and I thank God and I'm just thankful for all these possibilities that I have been given to help people, and that's where my nervous system is now, that I am I am able to contact and to share and be in. Not, of course, online is not the best way, but any way that we want when we are in that state of connection, that ventral vagal state of the nervous system, which is all about connecting, rest and digest. It's about where you can be creative and plan, and that's the stage where we all want to be, and that's the state where you, my friend, are going to. And oh my goodness, you're gonna enjoy that state, and you will have the glimpses of that state when you, all that fear and all that doubt just goes away and you are just in presence. And somebody did ask me how the presence feel. The presence feels, for example, when I'm walking, that I watch the trees and the sky and there is nothing else. I heard the birds. I'm just in the moment. There is no single doubt or thought or worry. Not that what if. We all have been learning who are going through this, that we have these what if thoughts. What if thoughts, if your thoughts are starting what if, it's always the anxiety. Anxiety is good about the what if. I can tell you like hundreds of what if I had what if I have the permanent brain injury, what if I'm not able to work, what if I'm not able to even do the videos, what if I'm gonna always have this pain, what if I'm not able to work out again, what if what if there is some poisons that I'm eating. Like so many intrusive thoughts and what if thoughts there was in my head. But now my head is like so calm that I could just spend hours with you now with here and not being interrupted. Even in the last spring when we started to do these videos with Mandy and I was still in that wave, coming out of that wave, but still very, very much in that. I remembered I was like, and you can probably see in those videos that I'm suffering if you pay attention. Even I'm always able to like kind of be that positive guide, but it's just something that you are now experiencing, and it's not gonna last. So for me, when we started to do those videos last summer, and I remember when I did hit, because before that I was already started to feel better, and then when I hit that bad wave in the last spring, and I did have all my plans in that summer and some of the work plans, and I remember I had to cancel everything. And I was so disappointed. Because in Finland here we have quite short summer. We have like the next few months gonna be our best summer months usually, or the next 3 months. June, July, August are like the really good months usually. And of course I had planned that I'm gonna do the more stuff then, because I'm able to. But then the lesson, because we always have to have these lessons, unless this would be the nothing if you don't learn nothing. I did learn to like let go. I did learn in that big wave that I did learn that this anxiety, it was possible that it came again, like part of the brain healing. And I did learn to really let go. And after that, I haven't had anything like that, not anything like that, because that was like the same in the beginning, like I said. But what I did learn, I did really learn that it's not so big deal if sometimes something happened to your life, whatever that is. It's not so big deal if you have to let go. Would it that maybe that would be some kind of relationship or changing a job or losing your job or whatever? We can always let go. And that letting go can actually make things so much more easier, in that sense that the more we fight, the more we like fight, or like what would be with the word, like the push, the more that kind of reaction we get back. But the more we let go and just, you know, go with the flow. Go with the flow. Do you remember that my video where I was like 11 months caffeine-free, and I did have like experienced that spiritual awakening because how heavy this experience was. And in that video I also speak about that you go like this. I didn't even have a lot of English that I could speak then. But I know I had already learned in that point of the journey the most important lesson that is, and the only lesson that really needs to be learned for me in this journey is to let go and go with the flow. And that's not something that is easy thing to do. It is easy to watch those videos. It's easy to research. It's easy to do that research, all the information. But sometimes it's okay to let go and just trust the process and trust the God. So I hope this video did give you more reassurance, and I always like to do these every once in a while. And I'm really enjoying here that this spring, it's been now the first days that we really have warm here. So I'm gonna just continue to outside. You probably see I already have get a little bit more color to my face because the sun is out there. But guys, see you again and lots of love.